Alright, welcome back everybody. My name is Josh. I run Monster Moth Studio with my wife Nicole. We're an online Pokemon card business. So, I'm just doing another vendor vlog. We just got back from another show, and what a difference. What a difference location makes. So if you guys watch my vendor vlog from, I guess, whatever it was, a week and a half ago, you can hear me talk about how badly we did. Poorly. Not knocking the show, not knocking the town, nothing like that, but location really does matter when it comes to vending. Like, we just know this to be true with our art business that we've been vending for the last 6+ years. We just know that location does matter. There are cities that we do really, really well in with our art business: Minneapolis, Kansas City, Grand Rapids, cities like that. And then there are cities we don't do as well in, like Milwaukee, Chicago. So I expected cards to be no different. So I assumed that just certain cities, the demographic there, the collectors there are after certain things, especially if they have a lot of recurring shows monthly. Then they just have access to a lot of stuff, especially if the vendors are really good. They find cool new cards to bring in, and if there are shows at least once a month, they have a pretty good churn of singles and other cards coming in. So, that being said, this particular show was out near Des Moines, and with the organizer, it was the second time that they have done a show ever. We went to the first one that they did back in March, I think, and that went pretty well. It was a new show for them, so you just kind of never know what to expect, and we always just keep our expectations to zero. So that way we're just always just yep. I think that's just best. Keep your expectations not low, but just don't expect anything, basically. And with this one, again, I just keep my expectations at nothing, so that way when people just come in, you just act excited to see everybody who comes in. And this one, I think it was smaller. I think there were fewer vendors than the first one, but it definitely felt like the crowd was bigger. It started off a little bit slow in the first 30 minutes, but then it just, after that, it started around 9. I'd say 9:30 it just picked up, and it was just pretty consistent the rest of the show. So that's awesome. Just literally people waiting in line, people with good cards, and yeah. So I discussed in another video that we were looking to upgrade our case. I just noticed at the one we did 2 weeks ago that we definitely have the smallest case for singles out of all the other vendors there. And I was starting to get suspicious that people kind of glance and then move on. They don't even bother. The case still holds 35 cards, but apparently size was a factor in this. And one of those few times that, size does matter. So we got a bigger case. We test ran that for this show, and I would say that it's a win. It's a banger. So this case holds 70-ish cards, and I think that's without overlapping. I just don't like to overlap. So that definitely gave people a nice breadth to look at our whole stock, everything that we got. And I think that did make a big difference. We also brought, as I mentioned in other videos, I have been trying to focus on getting away from those lower end ARs. Don't get me wrong, we love them. We love that there are really, really affordable ARs. We love stocking them. We love it when people pick them up because they're excited to pick up cards that they really like for under, $10, sometimes even under $5. Don't get me wrong, we love those cards, and as much as we can, we want to keep those in stock and in the binder. But we also need to get some of those, I would say 30 and up, even 40 and up singles. We just need to get more of those in, so that way we have kind of a better margin that lets us generate more capital, which lets us then expand everything. So definitely had more of those, brought those in. I took a bunch of notes because my mind wanders and I just forget things as kids, job, all this other stuff. So when you see me looking away, I'm just looking at notes for the show that I did. So yeah, we test ran the larger case. That was a win. I've talked about this in another video, and I'm sure anybody who's been following like Japanese Pokemon Booster Box news or whatnot, and if you haven't, you can check out my video. I talk about it. But basically, the gist is the booster box market in Japan, prices have gone parabolic, as in generally prices kind of like, fluctuate just like in English stuff, but about a few weeks ago, they just went astronomical. So that's a little unusual. There is some, theories and hypotheses on why that happened. But in general, it doesn't really matter why it happened. It did happen. And so now for me to import Japanese boxes, the prices have gone up 10 to 25%, which means for me to, number one, break even, but then number two, to churn my little bit of profit off of boxes, I now need to increase prices anywhere between 10 to 25%. That's a big jump. One of the pros of Japanese cards is that they're affordable. They are a lot less so now. So yeah, it's now a bigger investment to get into Japanese cards. Now, I will say, as opposed to English cards, Japanese cards are more readily available, as in it's simply a capital problem. I can get Japanese cards basically whenever. It's simply about buying them and having them shipped in. That's not always true with English stuff unless you're prepared to exclusively shop on the secondary market. So we did bring Japanese boxes, but I've been slowly selling, boxes off, and sales have definitely slowed on Japanese boxes because, again, Mega Dream, when it first came out, I was selling it at $130 a box. That was like basically release pricing, and then like all Japanese boxes, they drop, then they kind of level off, and then that's going to be that median. That's where the price will kind of shtick. It was that way. So I was selling, again, when they first came out, it was $130 a box. It dropped down to about $90 a box, and then now they're back up to probably about, $120, $130 again. So super unusual for a set that's only 3 months, 4 months old. Very unusual for that to be happening right now. So it's a bummer. Is Mega Dream still awesome? Yes. Are we still going to try and stock Japanese? I would say about as much as we can within reason, but we can just stock less boxes because they just cost a lot more to import. So, but we kind of saw that coming with the price increase. Our gut reaction was, this is going to be a bit unsustainable for our current customer base. And so, because that was the perk, right? Boxes were cheap. It was fun to rip. Now they're not as cheap. So what do? We pivot. So we were prepared as soon as I saw the prices started jumping, it was like, what are we going to do about this? And for us, it was to pivot into something that's more affordable. So we test ran simplified Chinese booster boxes at this show. Of course, if everyone probably knows by now, the gem boxes from Simplified Chinese, those are always bangers. They're super fun to rip. There's hollows. There's nothing but hollows. There's exclusive chases in each box. So we brought a bunch of those. All those gone. We brought some of the combination sets that Simplified Chinese has been dropping. All those gone. So, because again, they're affordable. And I think that's what, especially when it comes to parents, kids, they want some stuff that's just fun and not gonna just crush their wallets. So, good experiment. Now, will we sell out of Simplified Chinese at every show we go to? I don't know. This was a bit of a test, but I do know we have easy access to Simplified Chinese boxes, and for us, that's going to be what we pivot to for sure. We're looking at other TCGs as well, but that'll be for another video. So I also did loose boosters for Japanese packs. So we did a Whatnot stream last week that was pretty fun, and we just moved just tons and tons of stuff. But I cracked some Japanese boxes, and then was auctioning off the loose boosters. I've never brought loose boosters to a card show before because I kind of didn't think people would really be into that. But turns out I was wrong. So we sold a number of Nihil Zero loose boosters. We sold some Ninja Spinner loose boosters. So great. And I guess it does make sense because we had, like I said, Nihil Zero, Mega Symphonia, Ninja Spinner, and we sold them for $3, $4, and $5 a pop. So it's very easy for kids to get into. It's easy if you got just an extra 10, 12, $15 and you want to just rip something, you can. So it does make sense. But I ran that little experiment, and as much as I can, I'll probably start, I'll bring some loose boosters for Japanese stuff. It's especially fun when, we had somebody, he bought 3 Nihil Zero, and he gave them to his lady, and she ripped the Clefairy out of Nihil Zero. Awesome. You're getting hits, there's only 3 packs, so it's $9 in, and you pull the Clefairy. Sweet. Everybody has fun. Definitely excited about that. All the merch that we like to bring in, all of it was gone. We sold it all by the end of the show. And I think people are excited about Pokemon regardless of language. If the product is cool, it doesn't really matter what it is. So that's just going to be our big takeaway, is we're comfortable with not having the Charizard and having these huge bangers in the case. We like having that mid-tier stuff. But what we do like is people getting excited about getting a Sleepy Eevee, or especially kids, or just fans of the Evolutions, getting a Sleepy Eevee, or a figurine, or these blind boxes, the card cases and stuff. It's fun, it's unique, you're still participating in Pokemon. Sometimes you're still getting packs depending on the blind box that you get, and you don't get to rip that kind of stuff just on the norm, right? So yeah, that's the thing that definitely interests me as a business owner, is kind of importing that stuff and just being the fun, this thing is just fun. It doesn't have to be about what the market value of this card case is and what the market value of the fat pack that you're going to get in the card case and all that kind of, nope. It's not about that. It's about having fun. It's about getting a cool thing that is really nice quality, getting a fat pack of Chinese and ripping it and just seeing what you get, and in a way, kind of getting back to classic Pokemon. It's just about having fun. So we like that a lot, and that'll definitely be, we were already on that trajectory now, but this show really just solidified in people want this stuff. It's fun for us to bring in. It's fun for us to partake in that dynamic with customers. So yeah, it'll just, for me now, it's just about doubling down on that idea. So because this show went really well, obviously we'll be looking to come back. I talked to the organizer, and he wasn't sure if he wanted to do it monthly. I said, do it monthly, who cares? If people want to keep coming, run it as much as you want. Makes sense to me to do something like that. And keeping that in mind too, see, this is this weird thing of, I'm about to give vendor advice, which I don't, but I've only been vending Pokemon for 4 months, but I've been vending art for 6 years. So I have both a lot of knowledge and a little bit of knowledge in vending. But it seems to make sense to me that if you're having a show go really well, you should return to that area. If you don't have a show going particularly well, maybe you not show up to that area. It's not knocking the the other vendors, the venue, the organizers, nothing like that. It's just simply you're not, whatever, your vibe doesn't fit whatever's happening in that area, which is totally fine. And so for us, it'll be now, as there are literally at least 2-3 shows every single weekend, it's about prioritizing areas in which you vibe well with, whatever that is. So if you continue to underperform in a certain city or in a certain area, maybe stop going there. So find somewhere else to go. So it doesn't have to be don't don't make it harder than it already is, basically. So that'll be for us now, is that, again, just prioritizing areas that we do well in. I did have an awesome pickup for Nicole, and do I want to show it off now, or do I want to let her do? I think, well, she'll do a really nice reveal. I'm gonna go get it because I'm actually pretty excited. So I'm gonna pause and I'll be back. All right, so like I said, obviously we bring in Japanese cards. We like the Japanese cards. I've mentioned multiple times that collecting Japanese cards is just more fun, more affordable, print quality is better, all that stuff about Japanese cards. So we collect a lot of Japanese cards, and my wife, of course, she likes the evolutions. They're not like her top favorite, but just the cards are nice. Like, subjectively, they're just nice. Like, you can't argue that they're not. And so she's been collecting the prismatic evolutions in Japanese. So it would be Terrestrial Festival is the name of that box. And she's only got, I think, like 3 left. So, well, now she only has 2 left. Because I had somebody come to the table looking to trade away. That's right. A Umbreon in Japanese. I'll take it for sure. So, yep, he pulled it off of like a Whatnot stream, and like they ripped a Terrestrial Fest box. He got a Demigod pack, and yeah, he wanted to trade it away, and I was happy to trade for it. So this was one of those we just kind of thought we would never be able to get access to. So being able to trade and get this for her, well, she's really just master setting the Terrestrial Fest evolutions. So this was the big one that she had, like one of the big ones she had left. Now she just has like the Jolteon and the Flareon, which I think are like the 2 most affordable ones. So awesome. She already got the Sylveon, so now we got the Umbi. Pretty awesome, pretty exciting, definitely a win. And it was her birthday weekend last weekend, so I had already given her a Leafeon V from Evo Skies, because she's working on the Evo Sky EVs as well, because they're really nice cards, really nice arts. So surprise birthday gift that I didn't even know I was going to be getting her. Win. So the show all around again was a win, just across the board. I mentioned we did get trade in the Giratina V-Star from Crown Zenith. Didn't even last the show, so I was able to like sell that, and it was really clean. It was pretty centered. I mean, maybe it would 10, I don't know, but again, grading is just not our forte, not our shtick. I like bringing in booster boxes, merch, that kind of thing. That really appeals to my sensibility of participating in Pokemon, and singles. Singles are fun too. One kind of fun deal, besides the Umbi, of course, was I had picked up the Origin Dialga in Madison like a month or 2 ago, something like that. When people trade cards in, if I see something like cool or unique, I try and pick it up. Especially like, because like, I mean, I walk around shows, not like a ton, and again, I've only been doing this for 4 months, so it's not like I've seen every single card. But typically you see a lot of the same cards at vendor tables. There's just cards that are super liquid. Everyone tries to get them. So it definitely makes sense. But like that Dialga I have never seen that card before. So somebody was willing to like trade it away. I'm like, this will be cool. I know it's going to sit for a little bit because it's going to have like a very niche, like specific collector. But it's cool to have in the case because like I don't really see it a lot, and when I do find somebody who wants it, you know what I mean, they're going to be really excited about it, I presume, because again, I don't really see it when I'm walking around. So to be able to be a customer and be like, oh my god, you like, I'm looking for this for my master set, like let me trade into it. And so that happened in this show. That Origin Dialga, somebody was looking for it for his master set, and it was like he had like 3 cards left or something like that, and one of that Dialga was one of those cards. So we were able to do a trade, and everyone's happy, you know what I mean? So those like deals like that, because I think that Dialga is like $57, something like that, like market. So it's not like a big transactional win, but it's the experience of, like, he was very reserved looking at the case and looking at binders and stuff. When he saw the Dialga, though, there was just a notable like uptick in like, dude, like can I see this? Like, I'm looking for my master set. And he's just like, here, like whatever you want out of the binder for trading. Cool. So everybody wins, everybody's happy. Yeah, in general, just a super successful show, and just really, really grateful to organizers. The Des Moines area just seems to be really, really hopping. So yeah, super exciting. What that means for us now going in the future is I have this weekend off from cards. I'll be going back to vending for art this current weekend, but that'll give us some time to do a big restock because we are cleaned out. I got like literally like 8 boxes of Japanese stuff left. If that seems right, that's it. Everything else is gone. So I got to do a massive restock on everything. So that'll kind of give me enough time for the funds to be moving around, just all the digitally, you know, all the Venmos and Cash Apps and all that stuff, that coming in, and then getting connected to the digital banking so that I can start ordering stuff and getting new stuff in. So, but yeah, it was definitely a good time. And I think now moving forward, obviously we have only one show of an experiment, but you know, we have a big opportunity for restocking. We have a big opportunity in just new Pokemon products to continue to experiment with. And I think we will weather the storm of what's happening in Japan with Japanese booster boxes. I have heard one little whisper that there are going to be some maybe massive reprints on Japanese boxes. Who knows? If there are, that would definitely hopefully help drive the price down. We'll see. If not, again, it's just about remaining flexible. So, and just not being rigid in like business practice. So just because we started with Japanese, if it just stops making sense to stock Japanese in bulk, it makes sense to then move on to something that that has demand and just makes sense cost basis wise. So that's what we're going to do in the future, and we'll just continue to move and adapt where the market kind of like flows. So thanks everybody for watching. If you want to check out our website, monstermothstudio.com, we have, well, right now, Japanese booster boxes, but we'll be getting some more Chinese stuff, and we'll be looking at getting some other TCGs as well. So sign up for our email list. You'll be notified when we get restocks, new stuff, and pre-orders for things. So again, thanks y'all. We got the Sunbreon from Terrestrial Fest.